I read somewhere in that Russian roulette scene that, and maybe you can correct me if this is accurate or not, but the scene where you guys are holding the gun, the you were actually really getting slapped. Was that accurate? Where you guys were actually getting hit? Like I know De Niro, they were saying he was actually getting hit and the reactions were genuine when he was getting upset. Was that true at all, or was that
There was a
not
lot
true?
of different, yeah, it was part of many different interpretations. Oh
Yeah,
my God. I
yeah,
mean, I feel we might have even changed character, switched positions that are constant doing more and more and more.
yeah.
And helicopter, when we were doing the chopper thing,
Was that really
it
you
was
on the helicopter hanging
in
on?
most of the stuff that I was in it. Yeah.
Oh,
One thing I was not in was the long drop.
the drop. Yeah, yeah,
You see me dropping from the helicopter from a distance.
yeah,
Actually, I did drop from the helicopter, but they stopped it in one spot. We checked below because I could see I was facing forward. He was facing backwards, but I
yeah.
could see where there was trees, broken trees or rocks. And more than once, we had a situation um, where he said he couldn't hold on anymore, and we're going for a drop to go to where we're going to be dropped because
Yeah.
we had gotten under the helicopter and the helicopter takes off, and we had to go to a place to be set up on a beach, which was not possible. So we had to drive. We had to ride a mile or so away, and he starts yelling at me. I can't hold on. I can't. What? I mean, I kept going like this. Slow down. You know, into the
This is
door. The
Robert De
door is
Niro.
right here. Slow down. This is Robert De Niro's phone. I would yell to the stuntman inside, and
Oh,
Mike Cimino was inside. You've got to slow down. He's falling. He's gonna fall. I'm looking in the water all the time and ahead of us. I'm looking underneath us. I can see every shadow of a tree or a rock underneath him. And I said, when lower, 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 lower. And he says, tell me when. I can't hold. He may have been full of shit. Mike kept saying he's full of shit. Don't believe him. But he wanted to do it, and he didn't feel good. So I found a spot. Okay, I said stop, and he fell. Luckily, it was deep, and we weren't moving fast enough because you see, even when that other stuntman dropped, the helicopter was moving,
yeah,
and your body moves when you drop. So you can't pick a spot. You got to pick a spot way way ahead.
yeah.
So, but this was okay. But it happened again when we got picked up on the, or before that, when we got picked up on the bridge,
Hmm.
because we got stuck once under the log, big 3-ton log. It caught, and we were over a shallow part, and it kept pushing us into the shallow, like sandbar, and we were caught. It was heavy. Chris, had the end of one end, and he was trying to push that end out. But everybody panicked on the small boat with a big beta camera, not a beta camera, big camera on it. And the camera went in the water. People were trying to figure out how to help us, which they couldn't. Like when we kept yelling, can't, we can't get out. And then the water slowly came around where Chris was on that end of the log, and he was pushing, and it helped him move that end out. So the water started pushing the log out a little bit, and we could pull out from underneath it. That was one incident. And somehow they came up with another Panavision camera, and we did it again with the log going down the river. But we get to the bridge, and there's a broken branch. Now, for some reason, it is sticking up from on the log. And we're coming to the bridge, and the bridge on one side is lower than was expected,
Oh,
and the wood is hanging down low, and the log is going right towards the low spot where the branch is sticking up, and it catches the edge, the outside our side of the bridge, and it's pulling the bridge down on one side, and it's stuck there, and the other side the cable is going up, and the helicopter. Chris jumps up on the bridge, even though it's falling down. He's like an athlete or a dancer. Just boom, 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 boom. He was in the
he's tall
helicopter.
too. He's
He was
tall.
just, he's tall, and he's just boom, boom, boom. He's up inside the helicopter. But Robert and I are, we're on top of the cable trying to get up too. And the bridge, the other cable was high, and that strut on and the helicopter went on that side, went under the cable. And boom, we went flying up with the one we were leaning on. Boom, came out of the log, we flew up into the air. The helicopter was caught
Wow.
60, 50, 75 feet up above with height on that outside cable. The blades of the propeller on the top of the helicopter is going back and forth. Bobby and I are hanging on that other cable, screaming at each other. What do we do? I'm screaming at him, and I'm calling him by his character name. I don't know. I'm looking below. I said, there's some rocks down there and there's stuff. What do we do? I don't know. He says, and I'm calling him by his name, his character name. What was his name? Michael? I didn't stop yelling about
It was
his name.
Michael. It was Michael. Yeah.
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 And we gotta drop. We gotta drop. The cable touched that cable. The helicopter touched that cable. And I said, go, go, go. We gotta drop. We couldn't, we were scared. We did drop, and it was actually under the water, an upside down longboat. One of the native boats had sunk there and was upside down. We went in the water and came up underneath that boat, stuck like my legs or wherever he was on one side, and we couldn't see who was who. We came up out of the water and we looked back, and oh, I know his name. Stuntman came out, and he was walking on the strut, and slowly the helicopter balanced out, and he went out and he pushed that cable over the edge, and that was it. I know his name, and we were in the water. We could have died, you know. It's happened before in movies
Yeah.
with that kind of shit. It's terrible, and that was it for the filming.
The
No more helicopter stuff.
the chemistry that you guys all had together, and just it's sad, right? You see in earlier in the movie, because all you guys are childhood friends, right? And it's so conveyed with you guys, and the wedding scene as well. And you guys see that
It
veteran
was a dream.
that comes to the bar, and you guys kind of see like the effects of how cold and silent, and they were sort of looking at their future at that veteran, right? Or at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely just sad seeing like where they were in the beginning of the film. And because your character had just gotten married too, I believe, right? And where everyone ends up being towards the end, and that scene where after you or the Russian roulette scene where you shoot, you get dumped into the water, and there was actual those are real rats that were in there,
Real
right?
rats, real spiders, real
Oh
tarantulas, real snakes, real whatever.
my
It's
goodness.
Thailand. It's beautiful. We ate it all. We ate them all. They eat everything there.
And I did want to ask, I mean, is there any I know we talked a little bit about John Cazale, but any stories you could share? I know that was his last film, because I know he was sick while he was filming, but any exciting stories? I'm assuming you
Oh
were
yeah, he was with he was dating and they were together, Meryl and
Meryl
him,
Streep.
and they were like a mother and father kind of thing to the bunch of to the cast and the boys, the guys critical of us and our. I mean, John would just, if he saw anybody with a cigarette, you can't grab that cigarette. You don't know what you're doing, you know. And but then Merrill had a great sense of humor, and the two of them had a great sense of humor. Just really beautiful, and it was really a. I felt that they were very kind of like a couple, but even when they were apart, I felt their presence as the they didn't go to war, but they were our concerned parents. They
Mhm.
were the people who were brought us home, you
Yeah.
know, and oh, as a young actor, when you have these opportunities, and I guarantee it to every young actor, will happen. And you're starting, and you get to play a story with other people that are good actors, good people. It stays with you your whole life. And I got two great movies. I've had others, recently I've had The Last Full Measure meant everything to me. But in some low budget films, that were just a gas, too, in the last couple of months, or, nobody will ever see those, but I had so much fun. But those movies were just that, and just that sense of genius is being created. And you're a part of this love that is just unbelievable.